Amanda here from Create Your Future. Guys, I've got Eileen joining me today.
Hi, everyone. How are you?
Guys, we have an exciting video on how to use revision to manifest your ex-back and a success story that I'm going to share of when I manifested an ex-back. And no, it's not Andrew. It's someone completely different. And fun fact, when I manifested that ex-back, I went, nope, not for me. Sometimes things change, but you know what? You're allowed to do that. Just before I dive into it, guys, Eileen's got a background in psychology. She is a life coach, and yeah, she's having a 50% off sale on her coaching right now. So she is going to be able to help you to find out, you know, what's stopping you, what's blocking you, and to when we remove that, you're going to manifest things a whole lot quicker. So she's going to give you an action plan, intentions. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And for those of you who are new here, my name is Amanda. I'm an NLP practitioner, hypnotherapist, and life coach. And yeah, I have a free course. We have a free course on how to find your blocks to manifest anything fast. It's going to help you get yourself out of the way and really help you get clear on what you're manifesting and help you to see any sort of roadblocks that you may be putting in your way, right? So, and remember, a block isn't this big bad thing. Don't go looking for them. But if you don't have what you want right now, then chances are you're thinking something that's probably not helping you, right? Like if you're manifesting a specific person and you're questioning why they don't like you, well, that's definitely a block, right? We need to change those thoughts. So that course will help you with that. And guys, Eileen posts videos every Saturday. So if you love her videos, definitely join us every Saturday. So I'm going to dive into my success story on how I actually revised a breakup and got my ex back. So basically what happened was like something happened, and like I don't want to get into too many details in case he watches the channel, but basically things went really bad for him, and he ended up getting like a criminal record for whatever he did. And for him, traveling was really important, and it had nothing to do with me, but it was him anyway. So then what ended up happening was we ended up breaking up because like, well, he had a brain tumor, so he was kind of like going nuts a little bit or whatever. He was not acting himself because of the brain tumor medically. So that doesn't matter here, you know, when it's just, you know, petty crimes or whatever. But so anyway, so long story short, we ended up breaking up, and I thought, oh my God, he's going to blame it all on me. It's going to be my fault. And sure enough, he did. He totally blamed it on me. And then so after a little while, you know, he got his medical treatment that he needed, and I wanted to get back with him. And I thought, oh my God, I'm like, you know what? He's blaming it all on me. And I remember phoning him, and as soon as he heard my voice, he'd hang up. And I did this over and over and over again. Like, hey buddy, like I just click. I'm like, oh my God. Like, so at first I'm like, don't you look at the number? Like, don't you know my number? You know, whatever. So then finally one day I was like, no, you know what? I want us to get back together. And I said, you know what? I intend that he takes responsibility for what happens, because it was his, you know, brain tumor that caused him to like go a little bit nuts, and that he's gotten treatment, and then somehow he can get, you know, that criminal record, you know, expunged or removed, because it wasn't really him. You know, he was mentally unwell because of this, you know, physical brain tumor. Anyway, so long story short, after I revised that he took responsibility for his behavior and it was no longer blaming me, I phoned him, and he actually picked up the phone and he talked to me, and we ended up getting back together. And it was like, oh my God. Yeah. So anyway, but long story short too, like a few years had passed. So by the time we got back together, and we stayed together for about 6 months to a year, but then I was like, oh, this just isn't for me anymore. Like for me, it had changed. But you know what? I was really happy that, you know, we got to give it another go, because I felt like before I didn't really leave with closure. Anyway, we actually left on peaceful terms, and, you know, could easily be friends if we saw each other now. We just kind of grew apart. But, you know, I think it's really important to do revision, you know, when you are manifesting somebody back, right?
Yes, I also have a story. I had said I don't want to get into it because it talks a little bit about politics, but this was a while ago, but people are passionate about politics all the time, right? I knew the political view of my SP, and he knew mine, but we didn't talk about it. And one day, he asked me, so how do you feel about, you know, the upcoming elections and what's happening? He asked me, so I actually said, we usually never talk politics. So he asked me, and then he flipped out. And
Of course.
I was like, but you asked me. He was like, but how can you even like, want that and this? I was like, you just asked me. I was like, he's like, but that won't be good for the whole car. He went extreme. It was extreme. And I saw it coming like a what is it called? Avalanche. And I was like, this is not happening over politics. So then I was like, you just asked me. It's not, I'm not wishing it. I guess maybe he's scared because I manifest. I don't know. I was like, I'm not wishing anything. You just asked me how I felt about it. Don't worry. I'm not intending it. I'm not wishing it. You just asked me. And, I felt like I could share anything with you. So it became a very, very big deal. And he stopped talking to me. So then I was a little freaked out about it. And I did get caught up in the story for like a little bit, but like a little bit, I mean like a night. And I was like, wait, I'm not doing this. Like I create my reality. No, I'm not. It's not going to happen. It wasn't a big deal. And it was something silly. And he's going to call back and be like, oh, I'm sorry, I overreacted because it really was silly. I was like, this is not going to happen. So it took like 2 weeks. But even though I was like, no, it's so, first of all, it's silly. It was silly in my head. And I was like, no, he's going to go realize that he overreacted. Maybe he was tired. I've heard you say this before. Maybe he was tired. Maybe he didn't eat. Maybe he was, hangry. So every time something came up to tell me like, no, maybe you did something wrong, I would be like, no, I did not do anything wrong. He asked. So I said it. So I just kept, whenever the story popped up that I did something wrong, I was like, no, I did not. Everything is fine. He loves me so much. This is not going to end because a political question. And then he ended up calling me. He ended up apologizing to me. And I was like, okay, this is more like it. And then I was like, never ask me about politics again, because I don't like to talk about politics anyways. So don't ask me. I really don't follow it anyways, because
Exactly.
that was my story, which that's how I used it. Whenever it came up, I just focused on what I wanted and how things were and how it was.
Well, exactly. And I think that's so incredibly important to note too, that a mental diet is basically just revision, and it's revision on the spot, and, for instance, today Andrew was busy working. I said something and he would just like, kind of like made a noise and then kind of ignored me. And I was like, oh my God, is he mad at me? I'm like, no, he's fine. He's just working. Like, come on, Amanda, right? Like, it's like you catch yourself and the universe always says yes. So do you really want to create that? And so that moment, it's like, oh, maybe he's mad at me. Do I really want to create that? No, he's fine. He's just working. And so, if you're looking to manifest your SP back, you really want to go back and revise whatever fight or whatever event turned into the breakup. And you basically, like, the formula is like, look, they take responsibility. It wasn't a big deal. Like, both me and Eileen both said that for both of our SPs. Like, they take responsibility. It wasn't a huge deal. You can even do that. They're very forgiving and understanding if you actually did something. For instance, you did something and they think, oh, it's just terrible, you crossed the line. Okay, no, they don't feel that way. It wasn't a big deal. They are going to apologize. They're going to take responsibility. Whatever you want to see, you need to put a new spin on that story, right? And you need to keep repeating that until you see it show up in your reality. And you need to change enough the story that you're not feeling angry or resentful anymore, right? Because
guilty, because you always say, like, I love the story when you talk about, like, even if you did something, it's like, if you're thinking it's a big deal, everybody's gonna. So it wasn't a big deal. It was nothing. It was something. Yeah. But you also have to believe it, and then also contend it. Because if you're feeling guilty or shame or shouldn't have done that, so then they're gonna get that transmission.
Well, exactly. So, like, how do feelings get created? Well, they get created in your thoughts and your story, right? So, like, here's a good example. Okay, say Andrew does something, okay, and then like, I don't know, today I'm making dinner for his family, and I told him to message me when he's leaving this place. And so if he doesn't message me when he's leaving the place, I've got a couple options. I could turn around and be like, oh, he doesn't care about me and my timeline. and what I've got to do today, he's just being completely like rude and disrespectful. Of course, that's going to make me angry. Or, I mean, I can go at, okay, he's just busy. He's got a lot to do. Like, and actually he does, you know, it's quite a significant evening for him and his family tonight. So, I mean, you know, so you choose what thoughts you hold, you know, like for instance, Andrew says something to me and it makes me upset. Why? Oh, he's doing it on purpose to hurt my feelings. You know what I mean? Or it can be like, oh, he didn't mean it that way, you know? So you always get the choice. The other way you can shift your emotions is you can actually call in how you feel. So you can actually intend, I intend to feel good. I intend to feel good about the breakup. I intend to feel like they want to apologize. I intend to feel like they forgive me. I intend to feel good about this, you know? So you shift the story, and you can also call in your intentions on how you want to feel. In fact, try it every morning. I intend to feel happy and grateful, and I intend to feel satisfied today, you know? Oh, that's a good.
Agreed, 100%. And then you're taking the power back and being the creator that you are.
Well, exactly, which is so incredibly important, you know, so incredibly important. So guys, you know what, if you do need any help revising, Eileen's definitely here for you. She can help you with your whole entire story. You know, she'll hear your story and help you rewrite the story the way you want it to be, because you need to be clear on what your end goal is. And, you know, and I think revising with an ex is actually quite the easy one, but you got to let go of all those negative emotions. Like you really do. You know, I know when I want an apology, when I'm mad, I don't get it. But when I shift into being apologetic, everybody's apologetic.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you for being here. We will see you in the next video.
Bye. Take care.